Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best medium format cameras.
Starting at number 5.
Fujifilm X-H2. The Fujifilm X-H2 was originally released alongside the high-speed X-H2S, and at the time of release, its 40.2 MP resolution made it the highest resolution X-mount camera you could buy. Shortly after, however, the stylish X-T5 arrived, using the exact same 40.2 MP CMOS 5 HR sensor and costing about $300/$200 less. So why, you might reasonably ask, would I opt for the X-H2 over the X-T5? A big part of the answer lies in video, in which category the X-H2 has the X-T5 licked. The X-H2 can record 8K 30p video with no crop in 4:2:210-bit, internally, for as long as 160 minutes. The X-T5 and the high-speed X-H2S both top out at 6K video-wise, still impressive, but the X-H2 is definitely a better choice for video shooters. This isn't the whole story though. I've found that the X-H2 is also a better choice for burst shooting, which it can do at up to 20 frames per second using the electronic shutter and with a 1.29x crop. Yes, the X-T5 can do this too, but the difference is in a shot buffer. The X-H2 can record more than 1000 JPEGs or 400 RAWs before the burst rate starts to slow down, while the X-T5 will start to stutter after 120 JPEGs or just 19 RAWs. The X-H2 also has a class-leading fastest shutter speed of 1/180,000 SEC. The X-H2 sits in a curious position. It's high-res, but offers the same residential as a cheaper stablemate. It's fast, but not quite as fast as Fujifilm's X-H2S, which, to be fair, is around $500/$500 more expensive. It might be quite a specific user who finds the X-H2 to be the perfect camera for them, but their reward will be a superb all-around camera.
Coming at number 4.
Fujifilm X-S20. The original Fujifilm X-S10 was a significant departure for Fujifilm, packing much of the technology from the then flagship X-T4 into a far more compact body with more mainstream controls, notably a regular mode dial rather than a shutter speed/ISO dial. The Fujifilm X-S20 builds on this with a whole series of advances that make it well worth the extra outlay, around $300/$300 more at current prices. On the face of it, not much has changed, as you still get a 26 MP sensor and an almost identical body design. However, a faster processor delivers vastly increased buffer depth for continuous shooting, also thanks to a UHS-2-compatible card slot. New AI-driven autofocus brings automatic subject recognition and tracking, and the video capabilities get a huge boost, with 4K 60p recording, open gate 3:26K video, internal 4:2:2 recording and 12-bit RAW via HDMI. There's also a headphone socket now, and a bigger battery with greatly extended shooting times. If you're mainly interested in stills, the X-S20 may not offer enough of an improvement to make it worth the extra over the X-S10, but for video or hybrid shooters it's a major upgrade. It might look like an expensive beginner's camera, but it's actually an extremely powerful hybrid tool at a beginner price.
At number 3.
Fujifilm X-T50. The new kid on the block, the Fujifilm X-T50 has been positively received so far. We're still working on our full review, though you can read our first impressions at the link below. It's essentially a successor to the X-T32 and it works off the same concept. Take the sensor from the current flagship camera, then the X-T3, now the X-T5, and bung it into a smaller and more affordable body, sacrificing a few features in the process, but resulting in an attractive camera that's more affordable and less intimidating to beginners than the big boy. So, the X-T50 doesn't have weather sealing, or an ISO dial, or a second card slot. However, it is still capable of capturing brilliant, vibrant 40 MP images, just like the X-T5 or the hugely popular X106. Indeed, we suspect that this camera might end up becoming a consolation prize of sorts for those who can't face the multi-month wait that's currently required to get one's hands on an X106. However, the X-T50 doesn't just take things away, it also brings some new features to the table. Probably the most talked about is the film simulation mode dial on the top plate, allowing you to switch between Fujifilm's popular color profiles without having to delve into menus. This may not interest all users, but for a slimmed-down camera like the X-T50 that's likely to attract more casual photographers, who are maybe less interested in exhaustively processing RAWs, it makes a lot of sense, and we can confirm that it makes the camera a lot of fun to use.
Number 2 of my list.
Fujifilm X106. Fujifilm's gorgeous X100 compacts have been a mainstay of the X lineup since the very beginning. The original X100 was in fact the camera that kicked off the brand's renaissance back in 2010. Since then, the basic formula hasn't really changed across 6 iterations. It's a camera that pairs an APS-C sensor with a fixed 35mm equivalent lens, combining them with dial-LED controls for an immersive, hands-on shooting experience. The X106 is the latest in the series, and it arrived with big shoes to fill after the previous X100V blew up in popularity on TikTok. Happily, the X106 is a triumph. It takes the beautiful 40MP sensor from the X-T5 and sticks it into a classic X100 body. So while you've still got that fixed 35mm equivalent lens, you can now use the digital teleconverter to crop into your images and still get brilliant results. At 50mm equivalent you get 20MP images, and you can double your focal length to 70mm equivalent and still get 10MP shots, which is plenty for sharing digitally or even a small print.
And number 1.
Fujifilm X-T5. Long awaited, much appreciated, the Fujifilm X-T5 is the best Fujifilm camera for photographers, and probably the best camera that Fujifilm has ever made. Earning a full 5 stars in AP's full review, this fabulous mirrorless camera gets a considerable resolution bump compared to the X-T4, leaping all the way up to 40MP. It's also smaller than the X-T4, and much more similar in size to the original X-T1. What's more, it also receives the must-have feature of cameras that have come out over the past year: Subject Detect Autofocus, an AI-powered system that can pick out particular subjects like humans or animals and lock the focus onto them with unerring accuracy. Cheaper than the X-H2, the X-T5 actually provides remarkable value for money once you dig into what you get. A broad ISO sensitivity range, a comprehensive autofocus system, and a bangingly fast burst rate, 15 frames per second with the mechanical shutter or 20 frames per second with the electronic shutter, and 1.29x crop. It all adds up to a camera that's pretty much good at everything. For the same price as an old, underspec'd full-frame camera, the Fujifilm X-T5 gives you bags of functionality. While the X-T5 shoots excellent video, in 6K no less, in my view it isn't really a video-focused camera, and something like the X-H2 will give video users more bang for their buck. However, the X-T5 is a fabulous all-rounder camera, a fine achievement by Fujifilm, and a compelling argument that full-frame really isn't everything.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.